Good evening to one and all. Hopefully you can hear me, you can see my screen. Thank you for attending our session. I'll try to keep things as brief as possible over the course of the next 40 minutes or so. So I'd like to welcome you all to our presentation, which is focusing on possibilities on studying at TUM Asia, or how do I put it in German, Technische Universität München. For ease of communication, let's stick with Technical University of Munich. That's easy for us people who are non-Germans. The photograph you see here is that of our main campus, which is located in Archistrasse in Munich. TUM was established in the year 1868 by King Ludwig II, and he's the man who's responsible for the creation of the Neuschwanstein Castle. And for those of you who are not aware of that castle, if you have seen any Disney movie, you see the castle in the logo. That's the castle which I'm referring to here. And the same man is responsible for the creation of this university as well as the castle. One of the attractive prospects of studying at TUM is the fact that it's located at the heart of the city center. If I were to compare it with a university in Singapore, it's similar to our SMU. So if you have been to our SMU campus, it's located in the heart of the city center, unlike NTU and NUS, which is quite cut off from our city life. So it's very student friendly because of the prime location. And Munich, as you see on the screen here, it's the third largest German city, as well as it's home to the annual Oktoberfest. Over the next couple of slides, I'll be troubling you with some numbers. These are numbers which we have obtained from 2019. According to QS World University Rankings, we are ranked #1 university in Germany. And for the 6th time in a row, we are the #1 technical university in Germany. We are also #1 in Germany for electrical engineering as well as chemistry. And according to the Global University Employability Survey, which was conducted last year, TUM was placed #6, which means our students who complete their enrolled program successfully do not have to struggle to find jobs in their respective field. The photograph you see here is that of one of our campuses in Germany. It is the TUM campus in Garching, which deals with life sciences, that is physics, chemistry, and other applied sciences. Some more numbers I have to disturb you with. We have over 15 departments, which comprises of nearly 41,500 students. And out of those 41,500 students, nearly 30% or 1/3 of them are international students. Across the whole TUM departments, so across the 15 departments and multitude of programs, we have nearly 28% of them are international, the professors. And the numbers speak for themselves. We have over 81,000 alumni as well. And the numbers keep growing year after year. And that some of the famous alumni is there on the screen right now. We have 70 Nobel Prize awardees who are alumni of TUM. And the last couple of gentlemen who received the Nobel Prize was in the year 2016 and 2017. If you look at the bottom of the screen, in the fields of chemistry. One common trend, if you might have noticed across all these awardees, is that they won either for physics or for chemistry, with the exception of Mr. Thomas Mann, who won for literature in the year 1929. Some more famous personnel who passed through the doors of TUM. Since time is quite limited in my case, I cannot go into detail about each and every one of them. Instead, I'll focus on a few of them in the next slide over here. Some names should be familiar to some of you, I hope at least. So Rudolf Diesel, the name is self-explanatory. He is responsible for the creation of the diesel engine. The eponymous diesel engine was created after him. He was a German physicist, German engineer, German inventor and mechanical engineer. Then next we have Carl von Linde. He is the reason why we have refrigerators at our homes. We are able to have a cold beer on a weekend, mainly thanks to Carl von Linde. He is responsible for coming up with a process that allows in the liquefaction of gases on a massive scale, mainly the refrigeration cycle. He is the inventor of refrigeration cycle. On the bottom row, we have Claude Dornier. And if you are able to see the aircraft next to his picture, at one point of time for several decades in Germany, this aircraft used to be the world's largest and most powerful because of its size. They used to call it a flying boat. I'm pretty sure you would have come across this image during your internet searches. I mean, it's no longer the biggest in the world, unfortunately, but at one point of time, it was a very imposing figure. Then we have Billy Messerschmitt. He is responsible for the creation of jet turbine engines, a breakthrough inventor when it comes to our warplanes and so on. And then we have Heinz Meyer Leibniz and Oscar von Miller, who are responsible for neutron research and water power technology, respectively. Because of these gentlemen, TUM has laid a very strong emphasis on research. So TUM has set up plenty of integrative and corporate research centers which focus on diverse fields, but they're very specific in nature. For instance, we have the Transla TUM, which is focusing on cancer research. Then we have Munich School of Bioengineering, as well as we have Hans Eisenmann Zentrum for Agricultural Research. TUM consists of 6 campus locations, and we are proud to say that the only overseas campus of TUM is located in Singapore. But before I go on to the next slide, maybe I'll briefly touch upon our 6 campuses. So the main campus, we start from the top left, is located in Munich, and that's the first photograph I showed you at the beginning of the presentation. This is the main campus of TUM. This is where TUM began. At Garching, we have the TUM School of Life Sciences, the second photograph. Straubing was the latest TUM campus to open its doors to the world. At the bottom, we have TUM School of Management, which is located in Weihenstephan. We have all the management courses being held here. And then we have Singapore, of course, which is a nice segue for me to introduce to you about TUM Asia. Some background information about TUM Asia, how it all began. So in early 2000, if I'm not mistaken, at the start of the millennium, TUM was invited by the Singapore government, mainly the EDB, to set up a German academic excellence initiative here in Singapore. Hence, in 2002, we were launched. We opened our doors to the world with our first master's program. TUM's only Asian campus is located here in Singapore. And the idea of launching TUM Asia in Singapore is to be the best of East and West. What I mean by that is students need not travel all the way to Germany to have a European education and thereby obtain a Euro-German degree. They can do that at the comfort of being here in Singapore because there is no difference in the standard of teaching between TUM Asia and TUM. Of course, we are recognized by MOE as an institute of higher learning. So if you have any doubts, by all means, if you look into the list of institutes of higher learning recognized by MOE on the MOE's website, we will be there. And of course, we have partnerships with top Asian universities, top being NTU and NUS. This is where we are located. We are located at SIT at SP campus on the 5th floor, to be precise. All our classes are held here for both bachelor as well as master programs. If anyone's been to SIT before, I guess some of these photos should be quite familiar. I mean, our classroom facilities, and this is our lecturer engaging along with our students for both bachelor as well as master programs. Now, some more reasons why it's a good idea to study at TUM Asia, because like I mentioned earlier, it's the #1 German university in Asia. It brings the best of both worlds in the sense the degrees are, though the degrees are conferred by TUM, the teaching is done by TUM professors and lecturers who fly in from Germany all the way to Singapore. Granted, this year things have been slightly different because of the pandemic, but under normal circumstances, or let me put it this way, until last year, things were quite normal, and we hope to be back to normal status by next year, hopefully. TUM professors are involved heavily in teaching all the programs at our campus. We have very strong industry relationships as well, both local and overseas. And we adopt a unique block teaching approach. Some words about the block teaching approach. What it means is traditionally students, they complete a series of modules and they have examinations in the end. But at TUM, or TUM Asia for that matter, we believe quite different. So each module is taught for a span of 2 weeks, let's say. Then the student writes examination for that particular module, and then they move on to the next module. I am an alumnus of TUM. I study one of the master programs, which I'll come to later. At first, this block teaching approach was quite challenging to me, but personally speaking, I now prefer this compared to my UG system. And of course, TUM Asia opens doors for opportunities when it comes to internship as well as research. A roadmap that is meant to highlight our key milestones. So like I said, in the year 2002, we opened doors to the whole world. We started very small. In fact, we started with one master's degree in industrial chemistry, jointly offered with NUS. To this date, to this second, when I'm talking to all of you, this is our oldest running master program. So nearly, we had our 18th intake, I would say, in 2020. Between the years 2005 to 2009, we launched 4 more master's degree programs. Out of the 4, 3 are joint degree programs together with NTU, and 1 is the TUM degree program. So with NTU, we launched Master of Science in Integrated Circuit Design, MSc Microelectronics, MSc Aerospace Engineering, and with TUM, as in it's a pure TUM degree program, we have MSc Transport and Logistics. From the years 2010 to 2011, what we did, we were responsible for the creation of our research division, which is called TUM Create. I'll more on that later. Also, we launched our 2 bachelor degree programs. Until then, we didn't have bachelor degrees, but since 2010, we have bachelor programs as well in partnership with SIT. The first one is BSc in Chemical Engineering, and the second one is BSc in Electrical Engineering and IT. 2013, we celebrated our 10-year mark in Singapore. Between the years 2014 to 15, we graduated our 1,000th student from TUM Asia. The 1,000 might refers to both our bachelor and master programs. As well as we established very strong alumni relations. We set up, if I'm not mistaken, an alumni committee in TUM Asia, which is responsible for several alumni events, and I am a member of that. And we have had some wonderful events in the past years. Hopefully, they'll continue to we'll continue to come up with more events in the coming years once the pandemic situation dies out. In 2016, we introduced railway engineering specialization for one of our master programs, because all of us know the importance of public transportation in Singapore and how much the MRT and bus networks have helped us move around this island. So railway engineering was set up as an upskilling for an upskilling purpose. And then we also launched several partnerships in Industry 4.0. In 2017, so 2 years back, I was lucky enough to, actually 2018, yeah, in 2018, a couple of years back, I was lucky to be a part of the 15-year anniversary of TUM Asia. And we also had a 15th year graduation ceremony as well, which was celebrated quite well. We launched our executive education courses, and we established new industry academic collaboration with Postgraduate. As of now, we offer 5 master's degree programs. The first 2, Master of Science Aerospace Engineering and Rail Transport Logistics, are pure TUM degrees. Then we have 2 NTU degrees and 1 NUS degree. I'll explain more in the coming slides. And since from 2019 to present date, we launched our Center for Digitalization, Technologies and Innovation together with Postgraduate. This is a part of the executive education wing of TUM Asia. And we launched our 2 new bachelor programs, which is a joint collaboration between SIT and TUM. First one is Bachelor of Engineering with honors in Chemical Engineering. The next one is BEng with honors in Electronics and Data Engineering. Which brings me, I think, to the most important slide in today's presentation. What can you study at TUM Asia? So if you were to ask me, and depending upon your needs, we have offerings in Bachelor's of Engineering, Master of Science, as well as Executive Education. So Bachelor of Engineering, as I mentioned, we have, I think, for the 2 new programs which we announced, the SIT TUM joint programs, we started our first intake this year. Then for Master of Science programs, we have 2 TUM degrees, which is Aerospace Engineering and Rail Transport and Logistics. They are pure TUM degree programs in the sense the certificate is issued by Technical University of Munich in Germany, but the classes are held here, where all the professors and lecturers are flying from Germany. We have 2 degree programs which are joint collaboration between TUM and NTU. The first one is MSc Green Electronics, and second one is MSc Integrated Circuit Design. And then the last one, which is our oldest running degree program, It's the TUM NUS Joint Degree Program, which results in Industrial Chemistry or IC. Now back in 2016, if I go back to my roadmap earlier, I said we launched our executive education wing. And now we are offering professional certificates in transport, logistics, and or railway engineering, which I am a part of. Like I oversee this particular operation. And this particular wing of TUM Asia is geared mainly towards our industry experts and people who wish to have an upskilling when it comes to their career path. We also have specialist diploma in advanced digital manufacturing, and we have TUM Asia offers several tailor-made industry I 4.0 courses as well. A while back, I mentioned I'll explain a bit more about TUM Create. So some background story needed. So TUM Create was actually set up by TUM Asia. We were responsible for the creation of this research division, so to speak, of TUM. We have 2 phases for our research being conducted. Phase 1 was from April 2010 to March 2016, and the focus was in electromobility. On the bottom right, you'll see the picture of it looks like a Singaporean version of a London cab, and that's exactly the intention. So what happened in phase 1 is we created an electric taxi, which is tailor-made for Singapore's road and weather conditions. It's not just a graphical image. I've seen the working prototype of this particular car. They call it Project EVA. And in phase 1, obviously, several students from TUM Asia put their heads together to create this taxi. Phase 2 was from April 2016 and ends in March of next year. This time, the focus was mainly on ultimate public transport system, mainly to bridge the gap between MRTs and buses. So right now, our system involves we take a bus, we go to the nearest MRT, and then either sometimes we'll have to walk, but mostly that gap is eliminated altogether. We directly take the MRT and reach our final destination. But the aim of this research was to bridge that gap between MRT system as well as buses. The vehicle that you see on the bottom right corner, it's called a DART system, D-A-R-T. DART stands for Dynamic Autonomous Road Transport System. Unfortunately, they were not able to come up with a working prototype. Like they created a miniature version of it just to show it as a proof of concept. And the project will wind up by March of next year. I'll have to trouble you again with some more numbers, unfortunately. This is how our student population is divided. So from the beginning, since 2002 until last year, these are the numbers I have with me. We have over 2,200 enrolled students across all the programs, across all 7 programs. The majority of them, 42% of them are Singaporeans. The next comes nearly 30% of them are from India, then 18% from China, rest of Asia 7%, and then you can see whatever is remaining comes from the rest of the world. Some more numbers. As of 2019, we have over 1,000 students who graduated from the MSc programs and over 500 students who have graduated from the BSc programs. Mind you, the bachelor programs were launched in the year 2010. So within a decade, over 500 students have graduated. Some more numbers. If you were to ask me about the whereabouts of our graduates, no surprise, surprisingly, not majority of them decide to join the industry. Over 80% of them, and less than 20% have moved on to research. And I belong to the 17% because right now I'm pursuing my PhD as well. The location of work, again, unsurprisingly, if you're studying in Singapore, most of them try to find a job within Singapore. So 54% of them decide to work here. 22% of them move on to Europe. Nearly 14% in China, and then 10% to other countries like rest of the world. A few statements from our alumni. I mean, it's visible to all of you, so I'll leave each of these screen for a while so that you can read through them. First one is from MSc Industrial Chemistry for academic year 2018-19. So I guess he is still studying in the program because each of our master programs are 2 year long. So it'll take at least 2 years for him to complete the program. Fabian Schramm, he was my classmate. We both studied the same program, MSc Transport and Logistics, back in 2014. He is from Munich. He's a German native. So right now, I think he's working in BMW, if I'm not mistaken. And some of our industry partners, BASF, the chemical company, and Rohde and Schwarz. Rohde and Schwarz is quite special to us in the sense TUM has a very strong relationship with Rohde and Schwarz back in Germany. And that relationship has continued here in Singapore as well. Like every year, TUM Asia and Rohde and Schwarz collaborate on different projects, or Rohde and Schwarz is happy enough to support us when it comes to hiring interns and even coming up with some scholarships and sponsorships and everything. So they're quite special to us. Same goes for Pan Asia Logistics. Several of our alumni work there, have worked there. Our students have worked there as interns, have done their master thesis at Pan Asia. And I personally know 3 to 4 of my fellow classmates, as well as my seniors and juniors who are working there at Pan Asia Logistics. So a very strong partner of ours. Same goes for ST Microelectronics, both from an industry collaboration as well as from the perspective of having willing to accommodate our students. ST Microelectronics have been an incredible partner to us. And I think with that, we come to the second last slide of the presentation. I think this is the second most important slide of today's presentation. So if you wish to contact us, by all means, when it comes to admissions query, my colleague Daphne is here. She's the head of the admissions department. Please write into admissions@tumasia.edu.sg. And for executive education programs, like for those of you who wish to learn as well as work at the same time, please write to exd@tumasia.edu.sg. You can find us by simply looking for us on Google, or this is a URL, tumasia.edu.sg. We are there on LinkedIn as well as on Facebook. Just key in the names TUM Asia and then we should pop up right away. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for attending this brief session. And I was lucky enough to keep it within the time frame. Or as they say it in German, Dankeschön. Maybe I'll answer one question live. Yvonne Chan is asking, is the master program have a stint where we get a chance to be in Germany? It's not mandatory to be in Germany, but studying in one of our programs actually presents an opportunity for you to travel Germany to pursue your internship or master thesis, or even do an additional semester, because this is something which I did during my time at TUM Asia. So when I enrolled in one of the programs, University Transport and Logistics, I did an additional semester back in Munich at the end of my coursework, and then proceeded to do my internship and master thesis, and I even worked there for a year before coming over to Singapore. I hope that answers your question, Yvonne Chat. Next question is from Poonam Bhatt. Do you provide soft skills along with the courses as they're equally important? Yes, we do. Each of these programs have a requirement of completing soft skills. We ask the students to complete a series of non-technical electives as well as business and technical English as well. The non-technical electives, they involve modules such as business administration, industry 2.0, and so on. Huge. You can just look into the website and get the details. I hope I answered your question, Poonam.
I'm not sure if all of you can see me, but maybe just to add on to some of the general questions that some are asking regarding requirements for the master's degree program. So for example, like Gaurav Yellow, the requirements for master's program, like what Mahesh has said, it differs from one program to the next. Of course, we accept fresh graduates as well to come into the program, but we do have to look at your background in the bachelor's for the relevance degree. So for mechanical engineering, Mahesh, you might want to add on if you have anything to add. I would say that mechanical engineering, you are eligible to actually apply for the Master of Science in Aerospace Engineering.
Exactly.
Yeah. How about RTL? Would there be?
Same goes for RTL. For RTL, I mean, I would say it's quite lenient in the sense that if you have a relevant engineering degree background, you should be able to apply to RTL. But for other programs like ICT and GE, obviously you need to have a background in electrical or electronics engineering. And for industrial chemistry, without even saying much, you need a background in chemistry or chemical engineering for that matter. And for aerospace, you need a background either in aerospace or mechanical engineering to even think about applying into the program, because they're very specific in nature and it's focusing much more on the bachelor side of things. So there is no way you can come from a completely different program and expect to study in these programs which are listed. But for RTL, rail transport and logistics, general engineering background should be possible to get through. Okay, I'm sorry, Raghuvi, Danny, I neglected your question. I mean, I clicked by mistake. Your question is there any difference made in between MAT students and TUM students? No, I mean, all of us are matriculated as TUM students. So the difference is you're studying in Singapore. Apart from that, if you're studying in a program, you are enrolled as a TUM student, and the same applies to the student who's in Germany. So even he or she will be enrolled as a TUM student. So there is no differentiation, because your degree certificate, it doesn't state TUM Asia on the certificate, it states TUM. And if you're studying in the joint degree program, then it will be TUM along with the partner university. Again, Yvonne Chan is asking, what's the course fee for the masters? I mean, it varies greatly. It depends upon which program you're looking into. First, I need to know which program you're talking about. Only then I can come up with a number.
Yeah. In any case, actually the tuition fees, the actual requirements are stated online, because again, we do have specific requirements for different programs. They are stated quite clearly on our website as well. So if you have any questions, also do feel free, I mean, after this, to connect with us via email. You can write into admission@TUM, that's tum-asia.edu.sg. Yeah. For all degrees, master degrees, we actually accept fresh graduates to come into the program. So no work experience is required. So we do look at your GPA and everything. It's a holistic assessment. So we do need all the documents for, to be submitted to us, even recommendation letters, motivation letters, before we can actually do a review of each student. Yep.
Just to add on, I mean, this is something I forgot to mention during the presentation. There is no need for German language proficiency, because I've had such questions in the past, like, do I need to have German language knowledge in order to study in these programs? The medium of instruction is entirely in English. Of course, it doesn't hurt knowing an additional language, but it's not a mandatory element for studying TUM Asia, because it might help you during your time in Germany, but for studying here, no, German language is not required.
Yeah, I get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
A German degree taught in English. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So since Yvonne didn't specify, I think we can just share that typically the tuition fees ranges from about 31K to all the way to 48K. So again, the range is quite big. It really depends on the program that you are looking at. All tuition fees are clearly also stated on our website. Yeah. So our website is simply, I mean, you can do a quick Google search to find TUM Asia, TUM Asia, or it's tum-asia.edu.sg.